1 o'clock. Here we go. Top of the hour. Avish, you're there, right?
I'm here.
Okie doke. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I see some people that have been on before, and maybe anybody never been to one of these? Put in the question thing. Just curious how many new people we have. Just put new in your little box there to ask a question. Just curious to see. Anybody never been here before? Never been on one of these? No, everybody's been here before. In your little box, you can put question, new. Okay, new. Perfect. Robert Sterling. Boy, I used to know a Bob Sterling. I wonder if it's the same one. Okay, so let's let's talk about some of the things. Avish, first off, is here. He's one of my JV partners. We do a lot of these for. This is primarily, by the way, geared to people that I'm working with as joint venture partners. And so you, as the audience members, are basically sitting in as I consult with those folks, give them some brilliant ideas, actually, and find out a lot of brilliant ideas from them as well. So, first thing is let's cover a few things. Avish, let's talk about let me just share that Avish was nice enough to let me borrow from his speaking expert teleseminar template, which is, I guess, under which of these would it be under products or services, Avish?
I think it's under products at this
Okay,
point.
so under products, then we go to here to speaking tele. Click here to read about the topics and sign up. I just noticed that had January 31st date on it, so now we may want to switch it to just some kind of. Have you created a product now out of that people can buy, or how do they consume that after the fact now?
Yeah, this page is now. I just got to go in. One thing I did update this. The page itself I updated in terms of dates and they can download the MP3s and stuff. I just got to change the. I just got to take out the word teleseminar and change it to audio or audio program.
Okay. And so what I
So yeah,
did is
you can still buy this off that page now.
you can. So in other words, if I go down here, I can still make a purchase, and it does it have the free and the paid option there, or just the paid? Just
Yeah, it
this,
should have
right?
just the paid option.
Got it. So if I click here, it takes me to a shopping cart, and I can buy this, and it's all digitally delivered at this point, right?
Correct.
Perfect. Looks good to me. So now the nice thing about this is that when this started out, there were two options over here on the right hand side. There was the paid option, and then there was there's the paid option over there, and there was a free option here. And Avish, do you have some final numbers? Because I just wanted to. I was actually talking about that earlier here at the boot camp. So teleseminar is sort of the topic. Tell me what the totals were again. Paid, we have about 60. How many?
I think it was like 61 paid.
61 and free.
I'm looking that up right now. That was speaking expert teleseminar.
450-ish.
Yeah, 438.
438. Okay. And I'm guessing that this would be a fairly typical ratio. In fact, I probably think it would be even more skewed in favor of, the ratio here, 438 to 61. What's that, about 8 to 1? Looks about. And
Yeah,
so,
7 to 1, 8 to 1.
yeah, so I would say that if you can get, if you get less than an 8 to 1 ratio, you're doing really well. In other words, you probably get a ton more people that are doing it for free versus those who are willing to pay for it. So it's a nice thing because in addition to the fact that these people paid the money right here, you've got some money coming in from these guys, but the free item is going to be future sales because now they're on the list and
Right.
they're going to become customers for other products and services. And who knows, with all the JV partners, are you able to tell who came in from which person's lists?
Uh, Not easily, but yeah, I can. When someone signs up, it'll let me know which person I got referred from. But I don't think I can easily like sort on that or figure that out.
Yeah, because it'd be interesting. But again, Avish just increased the list size. So now your total list size for speaking expert is how much? About 1,000 or so?
Yeah, it's between 1,000 and 1,100, I believe. I can tell you. Yeah, last last Thursday I sent the full easing list. So that was 1136.
So 1136. And how often are you frequency of emailing?
Once a week, unless I have an additional offer or announcement to promote.
Always on the same day?
Yeah, I try to do it every Thursday.
Okay, on Thursday. And is this in that email? Is it timely or timeless or both?
That email format it's a lot of links. It's links to our stuff in one section, then links to other articles I find that might be of interest to speakers. So it's a mix.
Got it. Okay. So then that gives everybody an idea. Now, I like the idea. Now, is how long are those emails typically?
They're short because, like I said, I don't put any. They're all links back to content on various sites, so the email itself is HTML formatted and pretty short.
Got it. And by the
Probably
way,
the equivalent at most of 2 pages. Oftentimes just a little over 1 page, like one
gotcha.
page.
Now, tell me about what were you not with this particular event and all these people. Let's talk about what you would have done differently. What was, tell me about like what would you do different?
That's a good question.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to ask the good questions.
Yeah, I gotta think about that one for a minute because.
Okay, so here's the couple possibilities.
Yeah.
As far as your speakers,
Mm-hmm.
would you have not used certain ones? Would you have changed? What would you anything there?
Maybe two of the speakers on there didn't have big lists for this market, so they didn't generate a lot of sales. Their content was phenomenal. They're two of the best programs, but they just didn't draw as many people. So that's a tough balance because you want to have the best content possible. I might have sought out more. I think the one thing I might do, and I might do more in general, is I probably would have pushed more the affiliate program for people not part of it didn't have to be just the experts, because I had Bill O'Hanlon, who had done stuff with before he promoted it, and that generated a few sales. And then one person who found out about it through, I think, Bob Bly, contacted me and said, "Hey, do you have an affiliate program?" And I signed him up, and he sold like 5. So it's kind of getting out of that mentality that it's just me. I mean, doing this got me out of the mentality that it was just me or just me and you, but realizing that, with affiliates, it can be even more.
Got it. So it's not just the speakers.
Yeah.
Good deal. So in other words, if you had it to do over again, you may contact some of your various other friends and buddies, maybe in the speaking business, and say, "Hey, do you want to promote this as an affiliate?" Whoops.
Yeah, and frankly, just reaching out to the list in general and just saying, "Hey, if you want to sign up for this and maybe make your money back or make a few bucks if you like the content, then I mean, I don't really care. I don't really feel the affiliate program is so simple. I don't feel like I really need to worry about whether or not I don't need to heavily pre-qualify whether I let someone sign up as an affiliate.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So because after all, what does it matter to you if they sell nothing?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, good deal. Those are some things that I can tell you a little bit about, but I wanted to make sure. Hey, Dave, you're on the call. Do you have info for us on the ClickBank thing?
No, nothing new. I've been pretty swamped here this past week, but I'm working on very similar things. So it's a templated model. As long as we have the information organized, the online stuff goes up very quickly, and then we just plug in the content, put it into membership sites, and it's ready to start selling on ClickBank. I just haven't had a chance to get to it.
Okay. Yeah, I know you've been busy doing all kinds of stuff. So what we want to do then is now, for example, for this kind of a teleseminar, Dave, that Avish did and I'm doing coming up here shortly.
Yep.
Let me just quickly give you my experience, which is right now I have recorded. Let me just take a look and make sure I'm not lying. I want to look at my list here. Ebook seminar. And there's a lot of dummy copy on this. This hasn't been updated yet. So yes, I've done Bob Bly interview. I've done Joshua. I've done Bill. I've done Jill. I've done Mr. X. And Avish, when were you? Did you interviewed me already too, right?
Yeah, we recorded that last week
Yeah, so we're done then. All of
on
these
Monday.
people have been interviewed, and so that's done. So now what I actually have to do is go through and write this copy and make it better, and that's what I find this the toughest part of this whole thing to be. So, um, in terms of formatting, though, Dave, can you show us? Do you have the teleseminar template as one of your templates?
Yes, I do.
And
In
where
fact,
is
if
that?
you go
At
to
7 minute.
7 minute mini sites, yes.
Okay, so if we go to
And
7 minute mini sites here and we go down to, there is under the ones, there's a evergreen launch, squeeze page, seminar site, I guess. You know what? Seminar site is what you want me to go to, right?
yeah, that's right. I mean,
Okay.
it's really kind of the same. It's whether you're registering for
Let me
an
make
event or
let me make
whether for an online, it's about the same.
let me make a comment. You know that, I know that. People coming there do not know that.
That's true.
So
Um,
so what you need to do is
well,
set up another one that says teleseminar page site. So let's go to this one. Let me reduce the size of this because it's fitting into my screen here. So basically, even though this were the exact same thing, you just need to name it something else.
yeah,
But I would
that's
also, the reason why I would change it is because one of the things that is different here than is in the teleseminars is the options, the two options, one free, one paid. And so I
okay.
would I
Yeah,
would I would do something like with, let me just go back to there. So go back to the ebook seminar. When you get down to the very bottom of the ebook seminar, you're going to see the two options here, this paid and free version. You want to have this all set up and ready for them to go in the template for them to be able to see this.
and if I could ask, is the left one go to some kind of shopping cart, and the right one's just an opt-in?
Avish,
How does that work?
is that correct?
Wait, repeat that.
On your paid and free for your teleseminar, um, is the paid one obviously that goes to a shopping cart, and the free one are people just opting into a list?
Yeah, they get onto the list and they get emailed the dial-in info.
This is
Okay,
what, when
okay.
I hit that, here's what it gave me. So when I wanted to do the free one, it brought me to this page, Avish, correct?
Yeah, I mean this happens if the shopping cart detects
Oh, I
you,
see.
you signed up too many times on one page.
Got
Yeah,
it. But
most
in other
people won't
words,
see it.
normally this would take me to an opt-in page.
Well, it would opt you in, so you get the thank you page, and you automatically get the
Got it. So
this is the opt-in page.
it would opt me in, and then I would get an email confirmation receipt for the double opt-in.
Yeah. Or actually, I'm not sure if I have double opt-in on this.
Oh, so in other words, this might be just a single opt-in?
Yeah.
And is Web Marketing Magic allowing that?
Yeah, they always have.
Yeah, they do.
Really?
They don't recommend it. Deliverability goes down, but you know.
Okay, so, but my point is, Dave, for this, I think you should create a teleseminar page. And again, how much more additional effort is it for you to do that? Because basically, yeah, let me give me some numbers and tell me how much time, if I said, Dave, starting right now, I want you to design a teleseminar page that looks exactly like that looks exactly like mine. You'd be able to use this seminar template and make some minor changes. How long do you think it would take you to put it up as a sample?
Well, to make the changes or to put it up live on a domain.
Well, I mean, I want you to, I'd like to know two things. For you and promoting it to add so that we could add, instead of the book sales site page here, we would put the teleseminar page site here, and to demonstrate it and to show it to people as a template. How long would it take you to put that up?
Well, it's the domain 7 minutes. It would be I would if you asked me to do it like right after the call, I would install the seminar page and just tweak the things at the bottom, and that would take me under 10 minutes to put it up. depending on how many tweaks we needed to make.
Okay, so in 15 minutes you could have this up
Absolutely, on any domain.
on any domain. Okay, so then, well, that's great because now let's talk about the other side of the coin. So now somebody comes to you and says, "Okay, Dave, I want to do the teleseminar page exactly like Fred has it or Avish has it. I'm going to buy this template. What do you need from me, and how long will it take?"
Well, it depends on if they're asking me to do it for them or they're buying the 7-minute mini sites and want to do it themselves. But what I would basically all I would need is the copy. If I were doing it for them, I'd say, look, you need to write the copy, which is the promotion, the bios for each person, each speaker, the images, the thumbnail images for each speaker, and then, of course, whatever buy link they use for their shopping cart. But if they prepare basically the content for the site, it's just a question. I mean, that may take anywhere from a half an hour to an hour to go and plug in all of their promotional copy. But if they have it ready to go, it can go a lot quicker.
Okay, so I've got this ready to go. I've got all the copy written, and I give it to you today at 1 o'clock Pacific time. How quickly can you get it up for me?
I'd say conservatively by 3 o'clock it's ready to go.
Okay.
Probably quicker.
Super. So in other words, this is a really super fast means of getting this stuff done. Good. Okay. And the thing that I wanted to do is talk a little bit, good Dave, and we'll come back to you in a second here, but I wanted to talk a little bit about sort of what my experience has been with putting my teleseminar together and some of the things that even I haven't even launched it yet. So first thing is recording the interviews. People who get on to the teleseminar, some of them, Avish, how many people thought that they were attending an actual live call where they could ask questions?
I certainly didn't get any comments about it, but I also, in like the emails, I said like some or all, most of these calls are going to be pre-recorded, so email me your questions in advance, blah, blah. So I tried to let them know up front that it was not going to be a live thing.
Got it. And when did you let them know about that? Did you let them know about that on the sales page?
I didn't. I think I did it, every Tuesday I'd send an email reminder. So somewhere in there early on, I'd send a couple. And especially for the first, whenever I could, I tried to get on the call myself 5 or 10 minutes beforehand. And as I was doing my little countdown announcements, like about 1 minute to go, right before I'd say, here's a reminder, this one was pre-recorded, blah, blah, blah. So.
Okay, and did you get any pushback from people like they had a problem with that?
I did not. I thought I might, but I didn't. And frankly, I mean, the only people that would have pushed back, I would assume, would have been the people who got the free version, and they don't really have a lot to complain about.
Right. That's what I was going to get at. Okay. So in other words, these are pre-recorded calls. So one of the challenges I had is, so how did you do your pre-recording? How did you record, the calls in advance? You used the actual teleseminar system, right?
Yep.
So I used a combination of Skype and GChat plus GarageBand, and frankly, I got a little bit frustrated with with some of the quality issues I had with Skype because sometimes connections, whatever. How did you have any quality issues doing it your way?
And this is when going back to what I would have done different is the very first call. Of course, it had to be the first one. I don't know if it was her phone or what, but there were like little bits where the sound would just drop out for a second or two, and once or twice it went out for like 3 or 4 seconds. So the sound quality was bad on the first call, and I did get some complaints after that. I mean, some of the paid people even said that they're disappointed in the quality, blah, blah, blah. Now, I didn't get any comments after that once. So I don't know what that was. I'm guessing it was her phone line because I've used the system many times and for all the other calls. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. In my case, excuse me. In my case, I had some real issues some of the times, and I'm wondering how bad that'll be an issue. But again, I think that in most cases, if you got really good content, the super good content will override people's production issues long term, not short term. They might get a little bit frustrated, whatever. Now, by the way, one of the things is when I recorded my call with Bob Bly, we went about half an hour and we were sort of done. Um, do you think that having most of the calls be an hour and one call, I think I have an hour on all four calls, and then half an hour on Bob Bly, and then 45 minutes on Mr. X.
Hmm.
You think that's going to be a problem that I didn't go a full hour?
I think it depends. I would be concerned only if I had advertised it as 7 1-hour interviews, which I did on mine.
Right. I don't think I did that on mine. Let me just check. I don't think I did. But if I do those copies, 6 experts, all with one goal in mind. Yeah. So I've got to make sure that my copy didn't say that. By the way, you didn't put a video on the front end of your site to promote it. Why not?
It wasn't a conscious decision. I think I just didn't think about it at the time.
You mean to say you're not caring about your business again, Avish?
That is exactly what I'm
Is that
saying.
what this really comes down to?
Well, if I was keeping all the money, I would have done it, but I figured since I was supposed to do anyways.
So anyway, I think that maybe it would be a good idea, and I think that the shorter a 1 minute video is more than sufficient to just let people know what this is all about. Because again, and I'm going to do that, and I think I'm going to put it. And by the way, Dave, take note. If you're doing that, I would put that right in here, right below the word business. So that video should sit between business and the pictures of all the people playing.
Okay, good to know.
And you have any thoughts on that, Dave?
No, video always helps if the quality is good. If it's really crummy quality, it sometimes takes away from the professionalism of everything. But certainly, if you got a way to do great video, it's going to only help you.
Yeah. So we're going to put, I'm going to try and put the stumbling block that I'm having is that although I asked people to give me a blurb on themselves so I could put it in here, I didn't really get that. So now I'm caught with having to create, at least for some of the people, I'm caught with having to create the bio and the bullet points for each of these people myself based on the call. Do you guys think that it's necessary? I don't really get the feeling that for a seminar, again, remember our price point here is $97 for the paid. I don't really know if I need more than, let me find somebody where I actually have copy. Just see here. I think for Bill O'Hanlon we have copy. So for Bill, we've got a few bullet points and a short bio. And do you think I need more than what's here for Bill?
No, I think if you have what you have for Bill is great, but it would be helpful to be consistent with all your speakers having something, at least a paragraph about each one.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying, my feeling is for $97, if all I had was the same thing I have with Bill for all the speakers, that would be more than enough copy, I think, to promote this event. I don't think that I have to go further than that, do I?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Not for $97. I mean, if we were charging, $1,000 for this, maybe I'd have to get a little bit more detailed and in depth about the people and what they do.
And frankly, when I look at things like that, I don't know about other people, but what I look for, I'll read, the few sentences about who they are and where they come from, but what I want to know is what are they going to share? What's in it for me? What are they going to be talking about, and whether I care about that or not?
And so, therefore, are you saying that the most important element then here is what I put up here, the headline for them?
Well, that and the bullet points. Like Bill has great bullet points of what he's going to be hitting.
Got it. And by the way, I must have some kind of a browser issue. I've told this to Stanley, but this looks like crap with the bullet points here. So you got to make sure and check everything in all browsers as well. Good. Okay, so that's something. And there's all kinds of formatting issues here that I don't know what's happening here, but it's it's clear that there's problems that need to be. Do you have any idea why this is wrapping this way, Dave?
No. I'm actually just going to jump over there, see if it's on mine, or maybe it's on all the brow. I mean, it looks like it's just wrapping normally. That's just how it's kind of set up to do it.
Yeah. In other words,
Um,
something's not right here.
yeah. Uh,
That's got to be changed. So, I mean, I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to have to check on that, make sure that's good. But
yeah, it looks
again,
like that on mine as well.
it looks the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah. Well, and what browser are you guys in?
I'm in Firefox.
What do
I'm
you,
in Chrome.
good. Okay. So I'm in Safari. So in all three browsers, it looks like crap, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is, Fred, I mean, a lot of it has to do with the way the text is laid out. Like bullet points and wrapping around images are always a problem unless you right justify the image, and then you don't have to worry about the image messing up the bullet points.
Yeah. Well,
Which,
but I mean, that doesn't negate the fact that this looks like crap in all browsers. So,
yeah.
Well, are you talking about how it's broken after the often?
yeah, not only that, yeah, yes, that,
There's
and
a
what?
hard return in the code there, so
There is a hard return the code.
yeah, that's like a manual.
Okay,
That's
so
easy to
then
fix.
also, for example, I think these bullet points have a little bit too much space in between them. I would tighten those up a little bit too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that now, Dave, from the purpose of somebody buying and getting your template for this, is, can we make this so that these things aren't an issue?
Well, yeah. I mean, I can do my best with it. It all depends on how they write their text. If they start putting bullet points right off the bat, again, it's going to look funny with a left justified image with a bullet list.
Well, no, I
Um,
mean, clearly that's not what we're going to do. You're going to give them something that looks good. If they start to mess around with it, that's not your problem anymore.
yeah, exactly, and it'll look good. But what they do with it from there is up to them.
Well, yeah, that's understood. So I'm just saying we want to set something up that looks good right off the bat, and if somebody messes with it, well, that's their issue, not yours.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason that I'm confident in that is because it's optimized press, and these guys have just been meticulous about CSS and formatting, and they even do the testing on what font works and what size and what buttons. So it's down to a science with them.
Okay, good. So my point is, and I'm going to give you some other things here that, so, formatting must look decent. And again, when you're selling something, you got to consider the price point here. The price point is $97. How crazy do I have to go in terms of the description for all of these people, and the bullet points, and then the bonuses? I mean, I'm going to put the bonuses in, but again, I don't really have to go hog wild on this in order to justify a $97 cost.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I've got to get my MP3, I got to get my calls recorded, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just saying, Dave, that this is something that a lot of people may want to do something similar with as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey, let me ask you a question, Fred,
sure.
if I could, about, and this is kind of with my template. What would you think if, for this event, I don't even know if this is realistic, I give away the seminar template, allowing them to put up their own seminar site? And the reason to do that is there's affiliate sales on the back end, but it may entice them to go over and buy the full package at 7-minute mini sites.
So now, are you saying that for this event itself, I could include that as a bonus?
Yeah, although, see, here's the thing with 7-minute mini sites, it requires 2 other purchases to make the whole
No,
system work.
you're missing my point. You're asking me,
Yeah.
should I do this on this site with this teleseminar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like that?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I mean, it just gives me an additional bonus, as long as we, tell people, that if you want to use it to the full extent, it requires more, but this is normally a value. Yeah, write that up and let's put it on here.
Okay. When is this event?
Whenever I decide to do it, I've
Oh,
now
okay,
just
again.
finished. I've now just finished getting all the interviews done. So now I've got to finish writing the copy and then set the dates.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put that together. But I think people doing seminars, or to be able to slap this site up for all of their things would sure be nice.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure that everybody who's on the call. I mean, I'm just curious to find out from people. Let's take a look back at the 7-minute mini site thing. And I mean, you've got pretty much a lot of the different templates. And I'd like everybody who's on the webinar to look with me as well at the various different templates that he has. A sales page, a seminar page, a book site page. Now you put this in because of your dad. You got the real estate property page, a squeeze page, an authority, and a blog page site, and then down here we've got the evergreen launch site. What else does everybody on the webinar feel that he is missing? I mean, he's got authority, squeeze, he's got a book sales, a seminar page. He's going to put up a teleseminar page. Is there anything that you feel? Just put it in the question area that you feel that Dave has left out. Is there anything that he should be adding to that list of the templates that are sold through the 7-minute mini site? If there's, if you think he's got them all, just put, tell me none. If you think there's something else, send me a question that tells me which ones you think he should add. So if anyone has a comment there, I'd be anxious to see what they think. Is everything there that we need, or do we need more of something? A site that we've left out, perhaps? I don't see anyone vigorously responding right away, so I'm assuming that most of what everybody needs has been covered. Good. Okay, so yeah, so my experience was that, now the thing is that I definitely had to find people that had two things, and I think this is true for anyone doing a teleseminar. Number one is, great content about a relevant topic, and then we also want to hopefully have somebody that has a decent size list, because they're going to be promoting it to their group, and if they don't promote it, they're sort of violating one of the things, because you got to ask people, look, if you're going to do this teleseminar and be involved in this, I want you to also promote it. Now, Avish, what did you tell people that you expected from them? How did you put it?
I think I said, here's what I asking for is I asked for 2 emails, one sent somewhere within a week before the launch of the whole thing, and then one sent a couple days or the day of their own one.
Got
I told
it.
them I would pre-write them and give them drafts too.
2 emails written by the promoter to have people use when they're promoting that event to their list, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so let's see here. Good. Let's move on to another topic, because I'm getting bored with that one myself. And what about Dave? Anything new? What's going on? Dave?
Did you lose Dave?
Dave must be. He sometimes tries to multitask.
Hang on, I just muted myself.
Okay.
No, I turned off the sound so I don't interfere. But can you hear me?
Yeah. What else? What else do you want to talk about? What else is important that we should discuss?
Well, I wanted to show you one quick thing, and that was when recording videos. And you just mentioned putting an intro video, and a lot of people, I think, struggle with lighting and background and things like that. And I wanted to show you something that I'm doing recording with my dad, one of his products. And you know how on like Apple commercials, they have like just a plain white background and it just looks really clean?
Yep.
I did that, and I wanted to show you. It really came out good. And I even thought, Fred, at your boot camps, you ought to get this set up because it really makes it even. And I'll show you a site if you want to take a look at it. But it's negotiatingblueprint.com and then /members. And we're just putting the members area together. And I think it's module 4 where we actually have a video. But you'll see, I went and bought some.
I think it's time we all reconstruct our negotiating systems. I've been thinking about it, and we need to add.
The only thing I would comment on thus far is you need a little bit of front lighting.
Yeah, well, it's always yeah. I know. I'm still lighting is forever difficult,
Yeah,
but
I mean, we need something on his face. He seems a little dark, but so tell us how you've done. Yeah, because it looks nice and clean with the white background.
yeah. And the key to it is you get a white background and you get some fluorescent lights to light up the backgrounds separately from the lights you put on the subject.
Yep.
And if you do the white balance right, it just comes out looking super clean. And then you don't have to worry about finding a bookshelf or standing up against a wall or what's in the background. It has kind of a more professional feel to it.
Yeah, well, I think that's right. In other words, so now what did you use? What's your material behind him?
We went to Home Depot and just bought this kind of big white piece of laminate, and we hung it on the wall. So
How
it was
how
really
how how thick and how heavy was this?
it was plastic. I mean, it was only like an eighth of an inch thick, but it was about maybe 6 feet wide and 4 feet tall. We weren't sure, but we wouldn't even need half of that because you kind of zoom in. And the subject has got to be he's about 6 feet away from the wall, and the lights are behind him, shining up against the wall, and then I got to be about 6 feet away from him. So a lot of trial and error, but he's going to record all of his videos for this product like this. And once you get a system, you can just bang them out pretty quick.
What was the cost of that laminate that you have behind him?
$20.
So $20 for a 6x4 piece.
Yep.
And how much did that weigh?
It's very light. I mean, it's 4 or 5 pounds total.
Got it. So it's a light, very thin piece of white laminate.
Yeah.
By
And
the
you
way,
can,
you can also go into various kinds of photography places, and they will have this kind of a backdrop, but it will be actually like a thick sheet of, like almost like paper, a thick sheet of paper. We call
yeah.
it backdrop roll or whatever. Yep.
Exactly. We wanted something permanent but easy to mount. And the key is you don't want any shadows. You don't want it rolling up. And if you use a sheet, some people try to use a sheet, but then it's difficult because you got to get it perfectly flat, or a shadow comes into it. So anyway, it's not production level.
No.
But
I mean, the only thing I have only one critique, like I said, of this whole process. I'm going to mute this and then play it. The only critique that I would have is I'd like to see your dad's face lit well, actually now I had my computer screen. Let me just see here because I'm trying to. Oh no, you know what? It's not that. I had my lighting down myself. No, it's really not that bad at all. I thought it was. It was my fault because I had my light down on the computer screen. It looks pretty good. How did you put any front lighting on him?
Yeah, I ran out of lights. I have a bunch of lights that I bought for this stuff, but we use so many on the white to get the white
Okay,
lit
let me
up.
ask the question again. Did you lose any front lighting?
Yeah, we did use it.
Okay, thanks. And so but the thing about it is that just so everybody knows, I know a little bit about video production because it was one of my niches, and it's amazing what you can do with really inexpensive lighting. Some of which, I mean, you can get. So you use fluorescent lights behind him, which are dirt cheap, and you probably use fluorescent lights to light him from the front as well, right?
Right, and we have a softbox for him, so it's not so intense on him.
Okay, let me explain. Now you have a softbox that you actually paid someone for a legitimate softbox, correct?
Yeah, at a photography store.
Okay, so what you can do, and what a softbox is basically it's a housing that you put a light in that diffuses the light. Now, if you want to be cheap and pay less money, you can take a white sheet and throw light through it, and you'll get basically the same thing. So if you're trying to do this on the cheap, you can go to Home Depot, and what did they call that white laminate that you bought?
I don't remember, but it was back in the section where they have the big pieces of plywood on kind of laying flat.
Uh-huh.
It was down that aisle.
Okay, so at Home Depot, ask them for white plastic laminate, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Eighth of an inch. Go get some of that stuff, and you can create something. And so here's what I would do. You could literally go get. They have at Home Depot also these sort of like metal cans that you put lights in. You get some fluorescent lights, the ones that those curlicue ones that the government wants us to use now, and which is one of the reasons why I don't like them. But anyway, so you get those. You can light your background and try and light it evenly. If it doesn't look perfectly even, I think it's okay because you're going to look okay though. You're going to make it look. How much work did it take you to get the background lit properly?
Well, it was a lot of work until we figured out one thing, and that was the camera's white balance. And it's a setting that basically defines what white is. So I had my dad go out of the shot, and I focused in, and I pressed the button that says, "This is white."
Yep.
And poof, it instantly lit it up perfectly.
Yep, that's what you have to do. And if you have a white balance button on your camera, that's what you need to do. Man, in the old days, quote unquote, this used to be a pain in the neck. You had to hold up a piece of white paper right in front of the subject's face, and that was how you white balanced. But this is fine. So you're basically telling the camera that what you're pointing at is what they should use as white.
Yeah, yeah.
And so if you did that and pointed to their face isn't white. Their face is a tan/yellowish tinge. And so that would confuse the camera. Also, every camera also has an automatic white balance if it's a decent camera. And oftentimes that automatic white balance isn't quite as precise and won't produce the same results as this will.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, so how much did you have to spend if you would have, I know you probably had some of them, but how much was it? What kind of lighting were you used to light the area behind him?
It's basically just big bowls. I mean, with kind of some special fluorescent bulbs. But I realized I didn't have to do all that. It was more about how good the camera was and getting that white balance. So literally, if you went to Home Depot and bought those little clip-on metal bowls and some bright bulbs, but this is key, I have these little diffusers. It's almost like a hairnet that you put over the bowl, and it makes it so it's not so spotty. That made a big difference too.
And where'd you get those? At the camera shop?
Yeah, at the camera shop. So all in all, I probably spent $150 for the lighting and the background, and then we have a camera and a lapel mic, and we're good to go.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of. I mean, I'll tell you, there's a tough. I mean, there's a couple of easy ways to do this if you have the right equipment. I've been doing this for probably 25 years in terms of the lighting stuff, and the softbox is a great way to front light. And then the back lights, it depends on, again, what your surface is you're trying to light. But once you do this a few times, you'll figure out if you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pretty easy to figure out, especially with a small space. And again, perfectly white lighting is one look that you might want to have. There are other things that you could do that you may want a different kind of a look. But this is very much looking like, the Apple computer, the Apple presentations they make, because they're behind, they have a white background behind them. That's nice because if you want somebody to pop right off this, it creates a good separation. Now, again, your dad, John, was what, about 6 feet, you said, from the backdrop?
He was 6 feet from the backdrop and actually closer to 10 feet from the camera.
Okay, so 10 from the camera, 6 from the backdrop, and then you obviously zoomed in a little bit, right?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so you were zooming in and you made it. And one of the things that you did here, which is good technique, is you didn't center him, did you?
Yeah, I've seen, you watch enough ESPN or interviews, whatever, and they always have them off center.
It's called the law of thirds. If you divide your video into 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, oftentimes they would put your dad even further to the right as you're looking on this screen. And then you would be able to put like PowerPoint presentation like right over here.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to do is have some words, some images go up in there. So that was part of the reason for that as well.
Good. Excellent. Avish, any thoughts?
No, I love it. It's a great. I like that. I like that look. It's a great way of doing it on the cheap.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you can do this really inexpensively. using some standardized, Home Depot kind of materials. And I mean, you don't have to spend a lot of money to create this kind of a look. Now, which you're using the Canon Vixia camera, right?
Nah, well, I'm probably going to get that. Right now, this is using a kind of a parallel one, a Sony Handycam. I forget which model it is.
About how much money to buy it?
That was about $500.
Okay, so yeah, you don't have to spend. Certainly, you don't have to spend more than $500 to get this kind of a look. It's probably a step up from a flip camera or the Kodak ZI8 or whatever. But
Yeah.
the Canon Vixia at about the $350 level is sufficient for you to get stuff looking pretty decent. So I would encourage everyone watching or listening to the webinar here not to go out and spend a lot of money. You don't need it. The other option, of course, would be to create green screen behind him. And what green screen or a green, and by the way, there are green screen, various kinds of things that you could use exactly like you've just done this, Dave. And you should know this. You could buy a green screen. It's a little bit of a problem to light, but if you light it properly, now you could make your dad sitting there make it look like he's, on the top of a building in New York City overlooking Central Park.
Yeah, and I actually have a big roll of green, but I find it's so hard to get it to look where people say, "Oh, that's green screen." To make it look smooth. It's almost distracting unless you really nail it.
Well, I agree. I actually think that unless you're trying, your whole goal of the video is to create some big impression about where you are and where the setting is, really the highlight here is your dad and what he has to say.
Exactly.
And now what I might do in the future here, and you may want to test this, is if you move your dad from where he is now in the screen, move him over to put him about center him about where my pointer is. You see my pointer?
Yeah.
Move him there, and then over here, put some PowerPoint presentation stuff and have that go up. And as he's speaking, have those slides change to whatever the content is, keeping the content and the verbiage very, very light. So only, a couple of lines max and only a couple of words max per line. You could now have him talking, and for the person who's sort of more of a reader, they could be seeing the copy coming up on the side of him like a little blackboard.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing that with these. I'll send you a link to check out the videos we do. I'd love to get your feedback on it.
Yeah, and I think that it would be kind of cool to do that because it really is. People have become comfortable watching news providers. They're used to watching news people and sports anchors, and they usually have the camera on them, and then they have the screen, to the side of them where they're talking about it. Sometimes, or else, they switch back and go to both of those. So it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Avish, any thoughts?
No, I got none to add. That's great.
Yeah, and again, I think it really will help. So we're talking. I don't want to list it all on the sheet on my piece here, but again, you got some of this stuff at Home Depot. I'm a big fan of Costco for the camera, or B&H Photo, which is bhphoto.com is where you can get that. And as far as, again, you can get backdrop material, and there are some of the local in the mall kind of various kinds of camera places that might have some of the items that you would need as well. But BH Photo has got all this stuff, and if you tell them what you're doing, they'll give you a good idea. I'm with Dave on this. The green screen concept, in most cases, I just think it's tough to do right. Therefore, you're better off doing something very, very simple. Yeah, so Stanley is saying here, since he's been doing videos for his church, what Dave has done is excellent. All he has to do is follow the advice, the rule of thirds. One way to improve it, though, is to put a hairline lights top of the subject. So he's talking about three-point lighting, which has to do with if you wanted to make this look a tad more professional. You see where I'm pointing to on your dad's head right here?
Yep.
If you were to take and to hang a light up about between your camera and where your dad's head is, so about 5 feet between him and you, but sort of off to the side and pointed down at an angle right here, and make it not so bright, it would create a much greater separation between your dad and the backdrop. And so
Interesting.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so what Stanley is saying is, this is traditional three-point lighting, where you have a light on the front of the subject. Your dad, you got a softbox. You have a light on the back, but you're missing one, which is the hair light, or they call it the key light, where the key light comes down sort of off to an angle. So let's say your camera is directly facing your dad. Go off like between your dad and the camera and off to the side. Point that light down and make it hit him right about here, and have it be a very, very, not a very intense light, but enough to create, and on that light, by the way, you'll want to have some what are called, possibly have a snoot, they call it, or barn doors, to target that light, not have it be diffused. So you want it very directed right at that portion of his head or his hair.
Awesome. That's super. I didn't even think about that. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
I'll try that and show you.
Now, to find that, by the way, it's pretty easy, because all you have to do is go to YouTube and put in 3-point lighting tutorial for video. Go to YouTube, and you're gonna find all kinds of 3-point lighting tutorials that'll show you exactly what we're talking about here.
Three-point lighting forms the base of some of the more complicated lighting setups. It illustrates important lighting concepts that you can use.
So now I'm going to try and advance this to where he talks about it.
What we need to do now is to fill in those shadows. And for that, we use the appropriately name that the fill light is less intense than the key light, so it doesn't compete, moving the light back just a little.
So you'll be able to get all this at one of these places.
Yeah, this is great. This is great.
Yeah, so you'll be able to make that happen. Well, good. Yeah, we've discussed a lot of different stuff on this one. I hope everyone found this helpful. And we do these every week at this time, Wednesdays, from, same time, same channel, 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern time. And again, tell your friends, tell everybody about these, because there's a lot of great information that comes up regardless. So Avish and Dave, I want to thank you for being on the call, and thank you for sharing with people. And everyone else, we'll see you again next week. Please come back. Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.